Okay guys, so I plan to do a series of videos to show you how to assemble the whole chair together. What I've done is onto my desktop I have downloaded all the files from a combination of the Google Drive and the collaboration folder in the public drive. So I've got all your files here now. So I'm going to do it in stages. And first of all, we need to get the sides, the chair, the leg of the chairs, as you guys have called it, the side panels at a set distance apart. Now, when you do an assembly like this, it's always a bit of a trial and error to begin with. There's lots of ways you can assemble things together, and it always takes a bit of a trial and error to get the correct sequence right. So before giving you this demonstration, I spent maybe 20 minutes just playing around with constraints that are needed to get the right ones that I want. Now what I recommend is that you only put in the parts initially that you need to assemble. So we need two of these, so I'm just going to drop two of these in to begin with. Now some people often put in all the parts, but then it gets a bit unnecessarily clunky and a lot in the way. Now the first thing I want to do is set these up so that they're in line and the correct distance apart. So we'll also need the base file for that. So I'm going to just open up the base file as well from where I've saved them all in my desktop. Chair base, there we go. Now I'm just opening this up as a part file. And underneath we've got the chair base part and then the assembly. The reason I've done that is because I'm going to need to reference and check measurements on this, on the chair base, to allow me to set the right constraint in the assembly. So first of all, I'm going to check the distance of this that we've done this drawing in. So as I can see there, it's 450. So I'm going to take a note of that. Now, knowing the thickness of the material, we actually want to be working with 430 as a distance. So we take away the thickness on each side of 10. So when we put constraints on these sides, we're going with 430 away. Yeah, and it often requires a little bit of thought. As you can see here, this is 450 from the top points of these kind of staggered parts. So we obviously want to set the distance from here to here for the sides. As we go through, that'll make a bit more sense. Hopefully you understand them. Now, again, like we do when we set dimensions, we're constraining our drawing. So the first constraint I recommend we put on is on the inside. So we constrain that face to this face here. And then we set the distance as 430 in this box. And as you can see now, if I apply that and we zoom all, they're 430 away. Now, if we rotate that, you can see that it's pretty much in line. It's exactly how we want it. Now, I always recommend to put in a few more constraints just on edges. So we want those edges to maintain and also be 430. If we try to put in another distance, which I'll show you on the next one, we also want these edges to make sure that they're staying at 430. If we try and put in a different size, so 450 for example, you'll see that it'll change in a way we don't want it to. So if I quickly rotate that round now, you can see there it's not quite in sync. But again, you can go to this navigation bar here, open up the constraints. I can now change that to what I want, 430. You can see it's back in position where we want it. So that's the first stage. Okay.